She never expected this. Her royal spouse was a human warrior from Earth. Captain Jonah Reyes scanned the throng lining the palace avenue, his gut twisting at the unnatural hush. No cheers, no rustle of Voran finery. Just eyes, too many locked on the procession's heart. Ambush! Jonah's shout sliced the air. He lunged from his position beside Queen Salara's hover throne, grabbing her armored elbow. Your Majesty, service corridor. Now. The Queen's iridescent scales flared in surprise, her four-fingered hand snapping to her sidearm. Captain Reyes, Voran guards in crimson plate froze, plasma lances half raised. Commander Veshtal barked from the vanguard. Human, stand down, protocol! A glint flashed on the rooftop ahead. Jonah shoved Salira behind her throne's bulk, his body shielding hers. Down, sniper nest, 11 o'clock high. The first bolt sizzled past, scorching stone where her head had been. Chaos erupted. Guards dove. Spectators screamed, trampling banners. Veshtal whirled, mandibles clicking fury. Impossible. The route is sealed. Not sealed enough. Jonah yanked a side panel on the throne. Earth Embassy mods from Mira Chen's team. A hidden hatch yawned into shadow. This way. Move! Salira hesitated. One beat, her golden eyes locking on his. Then she nodded, sharp and decisive. Lead. Jonah plunged into the dim service corridor, Salira at his heels. Guards piled in after, Vesh cursing in Voran gutturals. The air hummed with distant blasts, raiders breaching the outer gates. Envoy Chen. Jonah tapped his wrist cone. Gates compromised. Divert your team to secondary evac. Mira's voice crackled back. Clipped. Jonah, protocol demands the main hall ceremony. Sign the treaty publicly, or the alliance fractures. Tell the raiders that. Footsteps echoed ahead, heavy, deliberate. Jonah signaled halt, drawing his compact pulse pistol. Human gear, reliable, no Voran recharge fuss. A figure burst from a side vent. Cloaked Voran, vibro dagger gleaming. Court insignia twisted on his sash. Chancellor Irix calls colors. The attacker lunged at Salira. Jonah met him mid-air, bare hands clamping the wrist. Twist, lock. The dagger clattered free. Yield, Jonah growled, knee driving into the assassin's gut. Voran scales cracked under the blow. Thicker than human bone, but joints popped the same. The figure thrashed, claws raking Jonah's arm. Blood welled, hot and slick. Jonah rode the momentum, slamming the attacker face first into the wall. One arm wrenched back, then the other. He slapped zip cuffs from his belt. Earth polymer unyielding even to Voran strength. Click. Secure. Veshtal arrived, lance humming. How? No weapon? Standard op. Jonah hauled the prisoner up, ignoring the sting in his bicep. Restrain first, disarm second. Salira stepped forward, retrieving the dagger. Her gaze flicked from the cuffed foe to Jonah's bloodied sleeve. Irix's man. Proof of betrayal. The corridor shook, explosions rattling dust from the ceiling. Raider drones whined outside. Vesh eyed Jonah warily, mandibles tight. Human luck, or interference. Instinct. Salira sheathed the dagger. Captain Reyes saved us. Again. They burst from a side exit into the Grand Plaza. The procession's remnants milled in panic. Raider skiffs darkened the sky, plasma raining on the outer walls. Chancellor Irix Call stood on the dais, holographic treaty scroll hovering before an empty throne. Your Majesty, Irix called, voice oily smooth. The human delays doom us. Sign now, seal the gates. Salira strode forward, Jonah at her flank, prisoner in tow. Guards parted. Silence fell. She vaulted the dais, scales shimmering under emergency lights. The treaty signs now. Her hand slammed the scanner. Digital seals bloomed green. Gates seal by my command. All units, fortify. Holoscreens flashed compliance. Massive alloy barriers groaned shut across the palace perimeter. Irix's eyes narrowed at the captive. A misunderstanding, my queen. This worm acted alone. Liar. Salira turned to the crowd, voice amplified. Vorans of the realm, behold your queen's spouse, Captain Jonah Reyes of Earth. Gasps rippled. Jonah stood steady, pulse pistol holstered, blood dripping unheeded. By ancient right, she continued, I grant him personal security authority. He commands my guard in crisis. Obey him as me. Beshtal stiffened beside Jonah. My queen, this human? Prove me wrong, Commander. Silira's gaze met Jonah's, a flicker of something new. Partnership, not pity. Captain, your plan? Raider fire chewed the gates. Drones buzzed closer. Jonah scanned the plaza. Elevated walkways, service drones idle, guard emplacements. Vaish, lancers to the roofs, flank their approach. Sailora thrones shields deploy here. Mira, get your diplomats underground. Mira emerged from the crowd, datapad glowing. Protocol approves defensive postures. Jonah, you're bending rules. Bending wins wars. He flashed her a grin, then turned to Silira. Trust the reroute? Her scales warmed to amber, a Voran tell for resolve. Always now. Vesh grunted, signaling his troops. For the queen, lancers scrambled. Eric slithered back, whispering to aides. Jonah marked him. Threat internal. The first drone crested the wall. Guns spooling. Incoming. Jonah yelled. Shields up. Salira activated the throne's field. Blue energy domed the dais. Bolts splashed harmless. Vesh's lancers fired from above. Drones sparked and plummeted. Jonah grabbed a fallen guard's lance. Voran tech heavier than Earth's but punchier. He aimed, squeezed, a raider skiff veered, engines aflame. Salira watched, hand brushing his arm. Earth trains you for this madness? Standard infantry. He reloaded. You rule it. Her laugh, rare, like crystal chimes. Partnership, then. Another wave hit. Jonah directed fire. Vess adapting fast. Guards cheered human callouts. Mira patched through. Borders holding. Alliance solidifies. Irix vanished into the crowd. Problem for later. As drones cleared, Salira leaned close. Voice low. Why? Patterns. Jonah met her eyes. Crowd too still. Angles wrong. Saved my COs the same way. Her fingers tightened on his cuff. My CO now. Trust sealed, hotter than plasma. But a shadow moved on the far wall. Irix's signaler, calm lived to raiders. The real fight brewed inside. Queen Sailora gripped Jonah's arm tighter as the throne room cleared. Sweet, now. Her voice cut through the cheers. Guards hauled debris. Vesh barked orders, eyes flicking to Jonah with new respect. Jonah nodded once. He scanned the shadow on the wall. Irix's signaler. Gone. Internal threat confirmed. He followed Sailora through arched corridors, lance still hot in his grip. They reached the royal wing. Double doors irised open on crystal latticed halls. Sailira waved aides forward. Move Captain Reyes in. Full access. Servants bustled, carrying his sparse kit from guest quarters. Jonah stepped inside first. Suite sprawled, antechamber, bath vaporium, bed alcove veiled in glow silk. Shared doors connected her private wing, no locks visible. Sailira halted at the threshold. Protocol demands proximity. Guards outside. She signaled Vesh, who posted 4 lancers at the corridor ends. Vesh crossed arms, mandibles clicking. Human. No weapons inside. Jonah set the lance against the wall. Agreed. But I map first. Sailira's crest flared. Curiosity. Map, he ignored it. Pulled a compact scanner from his belt. Earth issue jury-rigged for Voran spectra. Beeped as he paced the suite. Walls hummed with hidden vents. Blind spot. Alcove corner. No sensor coverage. Another. Bath arch. Echo-masked audio. He marked them with glow strips from his kit. Nightly. Protocol. Enter from east door only. Announced twice. Lights full before crossing. Servants froze. Sailira tilted her head, multifaceted eyes narrowing. My home. My rules. Safer rules. Jonah met her gaze. No challenge. Just fact. Vesh snorted. Humans nest like vermin. Live longer. Jonah finished marking. Suite transformed. Choke points clear. Fallback to balcony visible. Sailira dismissed the guards with a flick. Doors sealed. She circled him, brushing a glow strip. You treat my palace like a siege camp. Standard op. He stowed the scanner. Saved squads this way. Her fingers trailed his shoulder. Lingering. And me? Priority 1. Heat in her touch registered. Partnership sealed in fire. Now personal. Mira's calm buzzed in his ear. Jonah. Protocol says defer to her. Diplomatic housing norms. Deal adjusted. He muted her. Sailor poured crystal wine from a side font, offered a goblet, drink, rest. He took it, sipped, tart, electric on tongue. Voran vintage hit, like caffeine. Alert stays high. Eric slipped that signaler, her crest dimmed. Chancellor plays long games, ignore. Won't. Jonah set the goblet down, mapped her tension. Shoulders tight, eyes darting to doors, hours blurred. He stripped to fatigues, claimed the antechamber cot. Sleep came tactical, light, ears tuned. Midnight chime echoed. Sailor's door irised. She stood in sleep veils, glow silk clinging. Meeting. War Council, now. Jonah bolted up, boots on in seconds. Escort plan, Vesh sweeps corridor. I front, you center. She waved it off. Secret path, through vents, no guards, ambush vector. He grabbed his sidearm, permitted, holstered, blind, my order. Crest flared, challenge. She stepped into the corridor alone. Jonah moved, grabbed a heavy console from the antechamber. Polished stonewood, Voran luxury, dragged it across the shared doors, blocking the direct path. Thud echoed. Sailira whirled. What? Safe route now, east door. He pointed, calm voice, no yell. Blocked corridor, forced detour, past guards, lit halls. Her eyes widened, mandibles parted. You barricade my retreat? Protect it. They stepped aside, hand on door panel. Vesh pounded from outside. Breach, all clear. Jonah opened the east door. Guards snapped to attention. Sailira hesitated, crest pulsing. Anger, awe. She swept past, veils whispering. Insolent spouse, effective. He fell in behind, scanning angles. Council chamber loomed at corridor end. Irix waited inside, aides clustered. No, Vesh, deliberate? Sailira entered first, report. Irix bowed smooth, raiders routed, majesty. Borders hold. But this union exposes us. His gaze slid to Jonah, humans disrupt. Jonah positioned at her flank, noted Irix's aides, one fidgeted, calm badge live. Disrupt threats. Salara sat the head dais. Captain Reyes spotted the ambush. Irix's frills twitched. Luck. Pattern. Jonah leaned in, voice low for her. That aide, signal twitch. Tag him, she glanced. Subtle nod to hidden guards. Aide stiffened. Council droned. Raider origins, supply lines. Sailira cut sharp questions. Jonah fed her angles. Earth tactics meshed Voran lances. Irix pushed. Dissolve the marriage, traditional alliances. No. Sailira's hand found Jonah's under the table, grip firm. He proves worth. Meeting broke at dawn glow. Back through lit halls, guards saluted crisp. At suite doors, Jonah cleared the console. Sailira entered first, paused. You forced my path. Worked. He followed. She spun close. Breath-scented ozone sweet. Test passed. Yours? He unholstered, checked chamber. Daily. Her laugh chimed soft. Fingers traced his jaw. Cool. Electric. Bed alcove. Shared tonight. Pulse jumped. Protocol evolves. She pulled him through veils. Glow silk pooled. Voran skin shimmered iridescent. Crest flaring invitation. He adapted. Hands mapped her. Curves alien, responsive. Trust ignited. Her moans synced to his rhythm. Partnership raw. Dawn filtered. They dressed. Calm buzzed. Mira, Jonah. Palace buzzing. You rearranged the queen's suite? Secured it. Sailira smirked, adjusting veils. Expect pushback. Irix calls court today. Jonah nodded, mapped the day. Threats external, internal brewing. Vesh comment in. Captain. Training yard. Prove more than barricades. Copy. Jonah grabbed gear. Sailira's hand brushed his. Win them. Outside, lancers waited. Vesh tossed a practice lance. Human weak. Show. Jonah caught it. Hefted weight. Standard drill. Spar began. Jonah dodged, parried. Earth infantry flow against Voran power strikes. Lance hummed, plasma-edged. Vesh lunged. Jonah sidestepped, tripped him clean. Crowd gasped, again. Vesh rose. Grinning mandibles, rounds blurred. Jonah took hits, gave better. Lancers cheered human grit. Irix watched from balcony, face stone, eyed beside him. Wrist bound, guards closing. Celira appeared at edge. Eyes locked Jonah's. Pride gleamed, mirror patched. Alliance pulls up, but Irix petitions dissolution. Denied. Jonah countered Vesh's overhead, slammed him down, pinned. Vesh tapped out. For the queen. Lancers roared. Human! For the queen! Jonah helped him up. Partnership spread. Court assembled that afternoon. Irix rose smooth. Majesty. The treaty spouse defiles tradition. Barricades in royal suite. Human imposition. Murmurs rippled. Celira stood. He secured it. Against your signaler? Irix paled. Aide dragged forward. Confession beamed. Chamber hushed. Jonah flanked her. Silent. Her hand found his. Squeeze. Captain Reyes stays. Celira's voice rang. Partner. Cheers erupted. Irix slunk back. But Jonah spotted it. Balcony shadow. Raider drone fragment. Planted. Internal rot deeper. Celira leaned close amid applause. Mine now. Fully. Heat built. Trust forged in action. But the shadow signaled. War Council lied. Real raiders massed beyond borders. Irix's allies. He gripped her hand. Gear up. Next wave inbound. Chancellor Irix Call thrust his staff forward. Majesty, this human disrupts our ways. Barricades in royal suites mock Voran honor. Let him face the blade form ritual, publicly. Prove he deserves the throne hall's shadow. Murmurs exploded across the chamber. Nobles leaned in, mandibles clicking. Jonah stood rigid beside Celira's throne, her hand still warm in his from the applause. The raider drone fragment glinted in his peripheral, planted evidence, Irix's play, but now this. Celira's grip tightened. Her scales shimmered under the hall's glow orbs. Chancellor, you petition dissolution. I deny it. Yet tradition binds us. She turned to Jonah, violet eyes steady. Captain Reyes, do you accept? Jonah met her gaze. Basic protocol. Assess threat. Execute. Yes, Majesty. Commander Vesh. Celira's voice cut clean. Supervise. Ensure purity. Vesh snapped to attention from the guard line, Lance humming at his side. His mandibles flexed. Doubt lingered from their spar, but respect edged it. As commanded, Irix smirked, retreating to his balcony perch. Courtiers cleared the hall's center, forming a wide circle. Servants rolled out the ritual mat, etched with Voran runes. Plasma blades racked at edges. Mira Chen slipped Jonah a comm patch. Protocol says decline. This is their humiliation game. Exhaustion forms. No weapons allowed. Field instincts say engage. Jonah stripped his tunic, boots thudding on stone. Shirtless, he stepped onto the mat. Voran air chilled his skin, but breath stayed even. In 4, out 4, infantry drill. Vesh positioned opposite, bare-chested, his armored scales rippling. Blade form tests control. 5 sequences, falter, and honor breaks. He ignited the first plasma blade, thin, white-hot, humming low, notched for precision cuts, not kills. Jonah mirrored, grip firm, weight balanced like a bayonet. Crowd hushed. Vesh struck first. High arc testing reach. Jonah sidestepped. Earth footwork. Pivot on ball. Blade whistled past. Counter. Low sweep. Controlled. Vesh parried, power surging through his frame. Voran's strength crushed stone. Humans endured. Sequence 1 blurred. Dodge. Thrust. Breathe. Jonah's muscles burned, but rhythm held. No flourish. Just efficiency. Vesh grunted approval mid-clash. Human precision. Like machine. Irix called from balcony. He mimics. No soul. Celira silenced him with a glance. Her throne loomed high. Jonah felt her eyes, anchor in the spin. Sequence 2. Spins. Vesh whirled, blade trailing plasma wake. Jonah dropped low, rolled, rose inside guard. Tap. Blade kissed Vesh's scale, scoring faint. Gasps rippled. Vorans powered through pain. Humans anticipated. Sweat slicked Jonah's back. Breath steady. Vesh pressed harder. Strikes like hammers. Jonah flowed. Feint left. Strike right. Matt scorched where blades kissed. Courtiers whispered. He adapts. No fatigue. Mira's voice buzzed, poles spiking, but Eric's maneuvers, watch aids. Jonah spotted them, two nobles edging closer, data slates glowing. Sabotage? Focus. Sequence 3, binds. Blades locked, grinding plasma. Vesh's strength shoved. Jonah twisted wrist, disengaged, hooked leg. Vesh stumbled, recovered laughing. Clever feat. Halfway, lungs burned, but Jonah pushed. Voran forms demanded raw power. He turned it to endurance. One idea. Survive. Excel. Selyra leaned forward, pride in her posture, hand clenched on armrest. Irix shouted, "Impure! He fights like prey!" Vesh snarled back. "He fights like ally." Clash renewed. Jonah's blade sang. Controlled arcs, no waste. Sequence 4, shadows. Lights dimmed, glow orbs pulsing erratic. Vesh vanished in blur. Jonah breathed deep, ears tuned to hum. Footwork pivoted blind. Blade met blade. Clang echoed. Vesh emerged, mandibles wide. "Senses sharp," crowd roared. Lancers from spar pounded chests. Human endures. Final sequence, unity. Blades crossed overhead. Held. Strain built. Vesh's power versus Jonah's lockout. Muscles quaked. Jonah held breath, core tight. Weston stretched. Vesh tapped Matt first. Passed. Blades extinguished. Jonah straightened, chest heaving but unbroken. Vesh clasped forearm. Firm grip. "You honor us, Captain." Applause thundered. Selyra rose, flowing down steps. Scales brushed Jonah's arm as she faced court. Objections? Eric surged forward. Majesty. Outsider taints. Silence. Her voice steel. She drew royal dagger, pricked her palm. Blood welled violet. "Captain Jonah Reyes, I swear you to service. Partner in throne, blade, bed, blood binds." Jonah extended hand. Dagger bit. Human red mixed alien violet. Pain sharp, bond electric. "I accept." For the alliance. Court split. Cheers from guards. Hisses from nobles. Selyra pressed palms together. Blood sealing. Heat surged. Her touch lingered, promise and squeeze. Trust solidified raw. Mira approached, slate in hand. Diplomacy win, but scans confirmed. Raider massing confirmed. Irix signaled them. Vesh overheard, lance igniting. Treachery. Selyra pulled Jonah aside, voice low. Council lied. Orders breach at dawn. Jonah nodded. "My gear." "Your command." Her eyes softened amid steel. "Our command." Irix slunk toward exit, aides trailing. Jonah caught balcony shadow again. Drone feed live. External raiders inbound, but internal blades sharper. Guards mobilized. Selyra's hand stayed in his. Partnership ignited. Dawn broke red over Voran spires. Alarms wailed. Jonah buckled armor in royal suite, earth plate over Voran weave. Selyra donned battle regalia beside him, blades sheathed at hips. Forced proximity turned strength. Her scent, spice and ozone, grounded him. Raiders hit East Gate. Vesh burst in. Irix vanished, balcony empty. Mira patched through. Human fleets en route, but delay. Protocol demands your stay, Jonah. Protocol bends. Jonah checked rifle. Plasma hybrid Voran charge. Selyra nodded approval. They raced corridors, guards flanking. Explosions rocked stone. Raiders, hulking. Insectoid, drop pods cratering plazas. Voran lancers charged, lances flaring. But numbers swarmed. Selyra barked orders. "Hold line, Reyes. Flank right." Jonah moved. Infantry flow, bound low, rifle barking. Human rounds punched carapace, cracks where Voran blades glanced. Raider turned, claws raking. Jonah rolled, fired point blank, goose sprayed. Vesh joined, grinning. "Your fire bites deep." Selyra fought center. Blades whirlwind. Felling 3. Jonah covered her blind. Burst fire, Raider slumped. She glanced back, nod fierce. Trust in action. Wave crested. Pods rained. Irix's voice crackled, intercepted calm. Crown falls. Human bait. Betrayal confirmed. Jonah grabbed Salara's arm mid-clash. Elevate, balcony overlook. She vaulted with him, guards boosting. High ground, raiders funneled. Jonah laid suppressive barrels hot. Vesh called lancers up. Combined, human fire pinned. Vorin power crushed. Silira's blade pierced lead raider. For Vor! Cheers rose, last pod smoked. Silence fell, broken by cuffs on Irix, dragged from hiding by Mira's team. He spat at Jonah. Weakness married in. Salira faced him. Jonah at side. Strength chosen. She turned, pulled Jonah close. Lips brushed scales to skin. Claim public. Heat flared. Court watching. Nira smiled. Treaty solid. But Jonah scanned horizon. More signatures blinked. Raider reserves. Irix laughed. Allies endless. Salira gripped Jonah's hand. We end them. Together. Gear clanked. Next wave inbound. Partnership armed. Hours ground on. War Council chamber hummed tense. Holomaps flickered. Raider fleets massing triple. Vesh paced. Irix confessed partial. Chancellor allies Queen Salira yanked Jonah Reyes deeper into the Voran market sprawl. Match my stride, Captain. No human hovering. Blend, or the crowd devours us both. Jonah nodded once, shortening his steps to mimic her fluid glide. Scales gleamed on her azure skin under the sunglare of woven awnings. Spice clouds stung his nose, grilled krell fruit and sizzling Vatari oil. Vendors hawked crystal blades and glowing nectar orbs, voices a rising babel. Her 4 guards fanned loose, blades sheathed but eyes sharp. Vesh Tal led them, his scarred muzzle twitching at Jonah's presence. Custom demands proximity without touch, Silira said over her shoulder. Watch, learn. She bartered at a stall, claws flicking coins for a bundle of silken scarves. Jonah scanned flanks, habit from Earth patrols. The throng thickened, bodies pressed. Furred traders, scaled merchants, low-slung insectoids. No one yielded to royalty here. Vorin pride. A chant erupted 2 stalls down. Free the rim. No off-world yoke. Protesters, Jonah's hand drifted to his concealed sidearm. Salira shot him a glare. Customs raise. No weapons drawn. He dropped it. Fine. Observe. The chant swelled. Bodies surged forward, funneled by narrow alleys. Salira turned to a nectar vendor. Claws extended. Jonah positioned at her shoulder. Protocol be damned. Wave hit. Shouts drowned vendors. A mass of protesters boiled from a side lane. Banners whipping. They crashed into the crowd like a riptide. Bodies piled. Salira stumbled, slammed against a vendor wall stacked with clay pots. Shards rained as elbows gouged. Guards! Vesh bellowed. But the crush swallowed them, separated in seconds, swept 30 paces back. Salira's claws scrabbled for purchase. A hulking trader pinned her arm. Majesty, he grunted, oblivious or not. Jonah wedged in. No time for customs. He planted boots, shoulders squared. Surge physics, basic infantry. Crowds flowed like water, damned they flooded. Solution? Channel it. With me? He barked at nearest bystanders. 2 scaled laborers and a furred matron clutching baskets. They blinked at the human consort. Move or drown! He shoved the first laborer sideways, forming a pivot. Elbow jab. Not brutal, precise. Opened a gap. Laborer growled but held position. Jonah grabbed the matron's basket straps, tugged her into line. Push here, like this. Demonstrated. Angled body, feet staggered, geometry and meat. V formation. Point forward. Protesters howled closer. Faces twisted. One lunged at Silira's back. Jonah's boot hooked his ankle. Man toppled into the press. Forward! Jonah commanded. Wedge took shape. 5 bodies now, shoulders locked. They plowed. Scales scraped scales. Grunts rose. The furred matron laughed, fierce, approving. Human wedge bites! Salira twisted free, eyes wide on Jonah, no words. She slotted behind him, claws on his belt for anchor. Wedge ground forward. Jonah radioed terse. Vesh. Grid 7 Alpha. Vendor row 9. Converge fast. Clear lane on my mark. Static crackled. Vesh's voice. Human. Guards pinned. Hold. Mark now. Jonah bellowed at Wedge. Shift left. 10 degrees. Bodies obeyed. Gap yawned behind. Vesh's team knifed through, blades parting stragglers. They burst into open square. Selyra gasped air, straightening robes. Guards reformed. Vesh panting. Protesters milled confused. Momentum broken. Jonah released tension. Wedge dissolved. Bystanders clapped backs, vanishing into stalls with nods to him. Voran cheers mixed with mutters. Selyra faced him. Chest heaved. One claw gripped his forearm, lingering. You ignored protocol. Protocol traps queens. Jonah wiped sweat. Crowd control 101. Earth markets taught worse. Vesh snorted, eyeing the dispersing mob. Luck. Human elbows bruise easy. Geometry doesn't. Jonah tapped his temple. Selyra's gaze held Jonah's. Eat there, not anger. Partnership sparked. She spun to the square's edge, voice booming. Citizens of Vor, hear your queen! Crowd hushed. Vendors perched on stalls. Guards stiffened. Today, chaos tested us. She gestured Jonah forward. He stepped up, unyielding. My consort, Captain Reyes, forged order from Crush. Human method, Wedge, and Vector. From this dawn, royal outings adopt it. Train guards in human crowd form. Decree issued. Murmurs rippled. Vesh's mandibles clicked shock. Majesty, obey. Selyra's tone iced rivals unspoken. She turned to Jonah, voice low. Repaid. Trust your ways. His pulse kicked. Her claw brushed his knuckles. Deliberate. Skin to scale. Warmth bloomed. But square edge stirred. A cloaked figure slipped away, comm device glinting. Jonah's instincts pinged. Eric's network, Vesh growled. Protesters no accident. Rim agitators. Chancellor's whispers. Selyra's jaw set. Council reconvenes. Reyes, your scans. He nodded. Markets cleared, but threats layered. Partnership sealed in shove and decree. Raiders loomed beyond. Hours later, War Chamber thrummed. Hollow maps glowed raider fleets, tripled signatures. Vesh slammed fist. Eric's confessed partial. Chancellor allies ceded those chants. Raiders mass for strike. Jonah leaned in, tracing vectors. Funnel them. High ground. Suppress. Voran lancers with human fire. Selyra's claw covered his hand. Together, Nira Chen nodded from comlink. Protocol bends. Instincts win. Irix's laugh echoed from brig feed. Intercepted. Crown cracks. Human bait draws flies. Jonah's grip tightened. Selyra met his eyes. Lips curved. Fierce promise. Next wave inbound. Trust armed them, but Horizon blinked new signatures. Reserves. Endless. Selyra rose. To the walls. Jonah followed. Elbows and blades. Geometry and claws. War waited. Back in markets next dawn, decree took hold. Guards drilled wedges. Awkward at first. Vesh barking corrections from Jonah's demo. Angle sharper. Humans flow water. We carve stone. Crowd watched wary, then joined. A vendor matron, same from Crush, shoved into line. Teach me, off-worlder. Jonah adjusted her stance, feet wide. Push hip first. She grinned, scales flushing. Selyra observed from balcony. Mira at her side. He adapts them, not conquers. Mira smirked. Earth specialty. Protocols flexible. Protesters returned. Smaller. Bolder. Banners read. No weak crown. Irix's script. Surge built again. Jonah signaled guards. Wedge formed seamless. Human spine. Voran muscle. They carved through. Protesters scattering. One hurled rock. Jonah caught it mid-air. Crushed in fist. Tossed back light. Go home. Vesh laughed outright. Bites deep. Selyra descended, joining rear. Her presence fueled them. Square cleared in minutes. Post-drill, she pulled Jonah aside. Alcove of spice sacks. Customs evolve. You teach survival. Partnership. His hand found hers. Scales cool, firm. She leaned in. Breath ghosted his neck. More. Lips met. Tentative. Electric. Skin yielded. Scales rasped gentle. Heat surged. Guards averted eyes. Vesh grunted approval. Mira whistled low. Treaty heats. But calm buzzed. Raider probes. Scouts over rim. Irix's ally stirred. Selyra broke kiss. Duty calls. Jonah grinned. Wedge ready. Trust forged in crush. War tested it next. Council chamber again. Maps updated. Raiders crested jump points. Vesh coordinated lancers, human fire pins. They charge. Jonah plotted. Barrels hot. Pods rain. Balconies elevate. Salira nodded. Execute. Pods slammed markets. Earlier than scans, chaos reignited. Protesters fled or fought. Some turned raider cloaks. Guards wedged out. Jonah covered Silera. Burst fire cracked carapace. Voran blades followed. Wave broke, but reserves blinked. Irix reserves blinked into the square. 10 raiders, cloaks shedding like molted shells. Jonah's rifle snapped up. Burst fire stitched the lead pair. Carapaces shattered. Vesh's lancers charged, blades humming. Irix stood atop council steps, arms raised. Hold, parlay. Raiders pivoted toward him. Jonah smelled the setup. Trap. He shoved Silira behind a pod wreck. Vesh bellowed orders. Guards wedged tight. One raider lunged at Irix. Chancellor dodged. Feigned stumble. Jonah fired through the gap. Headshot clean. Raider dropped. Irix straightened, eyes wide. You? Save it. Jonah reloaded. Vesh's team cleaved the rest. Blades bit deep. Reserves crumpled. Salira emerged. Scales flushed violet. Lockdown. Full perimeter. Guards sealed gates. Drones hummed overhead. Square emptied under curfew klaxons. Irix smoothed robes. My queen, this human. Silence. Salera's gaze pinned him. Your protesters wore raider cloaks. Explain. Irix bowed low. Coincidence. Spies among them. Vesh growled. Liar reeks. He clamped manacles on Irix's wrists. Dragged him inside. Mira appeared at Jonah's elbow. Good call. Protocol says to brief now. Later. Jonah scanned rooftops. Clear. Salira gripped his arm, scales warm against synthweave. You, with me. She pulled him toward Palace Wing, doors sealed behind. Lockdown hummed. Force fields glowed blue. Private chamber. Spice sacks from market alcove piled in corners. Hollow map flickered on table. Raider vectors red. Salira paced. Jonah stood easy, rifle slung. You fight like storm. She stopped inches away. Claws tapped his chest plate. Always ready? Rifle hot. Eyes scan. Why? Jonah met her gaze. Golden slits narrowed. Training, no. She snatched his collar, pulled close. Breath spiced honey. Report bores. Truth, personal. He waited. Orders burned in his implant. Observe. Protect treaty. No entanglements. But her eyes demanded more. Earth sent me as asset. Infantry captain. Stabilize border. If throne falls, pull plug. Evac me. Salira recoiled half-step. Claws flexed. Asset, not spouse. Depends. Jonah unslung rifle. Set it aside. Define spouse here. Protocol vague. Treaty says union. Mean guard dog? Advisor. Bed warmer? She circled him. Tail flicked. Voran's spouse shares throne. Commands guards. Bears heirs. If viable. Claw traced his jaw. But trust. Oath bound. No evac. Jonah nodded once. Fair trade. Silira paused. Drew chain from neck scales. Token gleamed. Crystal shard. Etched runes. Oath token. Private. Wear it. She clasped it around his neck. Cool against skin. Grants command access. Guard network. Yours. Vesh. Links now. Hollow pinged. Vesh's voice. Captain Riez. Honor. Copy. Jonah touched token. Net bloomed in implant. Positions green. Threats amber. Salira watched. Your turn. Grinned faint. Pulled knife. Scratched dirt floor. 3 lines. Slash across. Human signal. Emergency. 3 short, 1 long. Means rally here, now. Practice. She crouched. Mimicked scratches. 3. 1. Voice it. He tapped boot 3 quick. 1 drag. Tap, tap, tap. Drog. Echoed sharp. Good. He knelt beside, hand over hers. Again, louder. She repeated, claws scraped deep. Humans, signal dirt? No tech. Tech fails. Dirt doesn't. Their hands lingered. Scales meshed fingers. Heat built. Door thudded, Vesh outside. Raiders mass rim, Irix confesses, fed them codes. Sailor arose. Wedged them, Jonah stood, pods first, barrels hot.
They moved as unit. No orders barked, just sink.
Lockdown stretched hours. Raiders probed gates. Guards held. Jonah plotted from net. Lancers flanked, human fire pinned. Solera leaned over map, shoulder brushed his. Spouse commands well. Partnership. He traced her claw on hollow. No assets. Her tail coiled his leg. Subtle claim. Negotiate terms? Terms. Jonah turned. Faces close. 1. Trust orders. No protocol block. Done. Lips brushed his ear. 2. Air's viable. Earth adapts. Hand slid waist. Scales parted smooth. She nipped shoulder. Gentle. 3. Oath real. No evac. Deal. Mouth claimed hers. Deeper now. Tongues met. Rough. Electric. She pressed full. Curves yielded to armor. Ves comed. Probes retreat. Irix locked. Lyra broke kiss. Eyes blazed. More later. Jonah adjusted gear. Lockdown suits. Mira slipped in later. Eyed token. Protocol bends. Good. Flexible. Jonah checked net. Green. Night deepened. Raiders circled. Palace thrummed alert. Lyra pulled him to alcove bed. Spice sacks cushioned. Define more. Clothes shed. Scales gleamed under glow lamps. His skin flushed against violet. Hands explored. Claws retracted tender. She arched. Human heat. Extraordinary. Mutual. Rhythm built. Gasps synced. Peak crashed. Shared roar muffled. After, entwined. Token pressed chest to scales. Marriage real. Real. He traced ridges. Raiders test tomorrow. Her claws gripped. Wedge, unbreakable. Dawn klaxons wailed. Probes escalated. Full assault inbound. Vesh rallied. Spouses lead. Jonah rose, rifle ready. Lyra donned armor, hand in hand to gates. Irix's allies struck inside. Guards turned. Betrayal lit halls red. Jonah signaled dirt. 3-1. Vorans rallied instant. Lyra's laugh rang. Dirt wins. They charged. Fire and blade. Trust sealed in blood. But rim scans spiked. Raider Lord hailed. Crown falls.
Human pawn dies first. Lyra snarled.
Pawn. Husband. Jonah grinned. Wedge out. Gates buckled. Horde poured. Captain Reyes fired first. Lyra at side. Spouses true. Vesh bellowed joy.
Bites eternal. Mira covered flank. Protocol obsolete.
They held. Humans pinned. Vorans cleaved. Raiders broke. Victory pyres lit. Irix chained for trial. Chamber private again. Lyra traced token. Heirs next. Jonah pulled close. Negotiate. Lips met. Lockdown lifted. But union locked forever. Raider Lord escaped. Vowed return. Deeper threat stirred. Spouses prepared. Wedge eternal. Council cheered. Human spouse rose. Queen stronger. Trust forged. War won. Love claimed. But shadows lengthened. Irix whispered from cell. Not over. Jonah heard. Net pinged traitor in ranks. New wedge formed. Lyra's hand found his. Together. Always. Word count 1428. Not included in output. Lights died. Palace plunged into black. Doors slammed shut. Servos whining. Jonah Reyes grabbed Lyra's arm. Stay close. Queen Salira Von tensed beside him. Her scales rasped against his uniform. Royal suite sealed tight. Alarms silent. No klaxons. Planned. Footsteps echoed outside. Boots on marble. Multiple. Chancellor calls work. Lyra hissed. Voice low. Claws flexing. Jonah scanned the dark. Night vision contacts from Earth gear kicked in. Green glow outlined vents. Maintenance shafts. Ugly route. He yanked a panel free. Sparks flew. In. Now. Lyra hesitated. Royal protocol screamed against ducts, but raiders hammered borders tomorrow. Trust him. She slid in first. Jonah followed. Rifle slung tight. Shaft narrow. Voran shoulders wider than human. He wedged through. Crawled single file. air thick with dust. Fins on her tail brushed his boot. Patrol voices ahead. Calls loyalists. Secure the suite. Queen trapped. Salira froze. Jonah tapped her leg. Silent. They pressed flat. Boots thudded past. Laser sights swept the grate. Breath held. Heartbeats drummed. Guards moved on. Salira exhaled. How did you? Standard op. Jonah kept crawling. Blackout drills. Earth basic. Jaft dumped into sublevels. Pipes hummed faint. Backup generators offline too. Jonah pried another grate, emerged into access corridor. Dim emergency strips flickered wrong color. Tampered. Powers cut selective. He traced conduits. Voron-Tech hybrid. Alien crystals. Human relays from treaty upgrades. Salira crouched beside him. Eyes glowed faint biolume. Call controls grid. He wants me isolated. Footsteps again. Closer. Jonah pulled her into shadow. 2 guards rounded corner. Calls insignia on pauldrons. Chancellor says human spouse first. Weak link. Jonah's jaw tightened. Rifle up. Suppressed rounds. Pop, pop. Guards dropped. Clean headshots. Salira stared. No warning shot? They're seizing your throne. No mercy. He stripped their comms. Static. Dead. She nodded slow. Claws retracted. Partnership clicked. Goal. Restore power slice. Escape window. Jonah eyed junction box. Crystal relays pulsed weak. Bypass needed. He pulled toolkit. Multi-tool bit into wiring. Human improv. Earth hack, he muttered. Bridge the crystals manual. Salira watched. Risk overload. Calculated. Wires spliced. Jumper cable from his belt. Sparks jumped. Lights snapped on. 1 corridor only. Royal wing access. Alarms blared selective. Lights pinned calls teams. Salira lunged for comm panel. Reopened channel. Voice boomed palace-wide. Chancellor Eric's call. Treason exposed. Loyalists, stand down. Veshtal, arrest him now. Static crackled. Vesh's voice cut in.
My queen.
Guards en route. Human holding? Affirm, Jonah said. Beside her, Salira gripped his shoulder. Captain Reyes rigs victory. Boots thundered. Vesh burst in, blade drawn. Royal Guard commander scanned bodies. Nodded at Jonah. Efficient. Calls voiceover comms. Smooth panic. Lies. Human sabotage. Vesh snarled. Traitors marked. He charged out. Jonah reloaded. We move. Sweet compromised. Salira synced step. Hand brushed his. Lead, husband. They sprinted lit corridor. Call's remnants fired wild. Jonah dropped too. Salira's sidearm barked. Voron plasma. Melted armor. Mira Chen rounded bend. Human envoy. Tablet clutched. Captain. Protocol. Evac shuttle. Negative. Jonah covered flank. Hold palace core. Mira fell in. Instincts again. Fine. Explosions rocked upper halls. Call cornered. Vesh's roar echoed. Yield. Blaster whine. Silence. Call dragged out. Bound. Eyes on Salira. Border raiders laugh. Weak queen weds dirt. Jonah stepped forward. Rifle low. Dirt holds. Salira's laugh cut sharp. Wedge unbreakable. Council chamber later. Lights full. Call chained. Testimony poured. Vesh saluted Jonah. Your bypass saved ours. Humans. Reliable. Mira smirked. Told you. Field over forms. Salira pulled Jonah aside. Private alcove. Claws traced his token. Earthdog tags fused to Voron band. Protocol bent. Trust earned. Her tail curled his leg. He met her gaze. Scales shimmered victory gold. Partnership. Not pawn. Lips met. Fierce. Cultural exchange sealed. Dawn claxons wailed. Probes escalated. Raider assault. Inbound. Vesh rallied guards. Spouses lead. Jonah rose, rifle ready. Salira donned armor, hand in hand to gates, but rim scans spiked. Raider Lord hailed open channel. Crown falls. Human pawn dies first. Salira snarled. Pawn, husband, Jonah grinned. Wedge out, gates buckled. Horde poured. Captain Reyes fired first, Salira at side. They held the breach. Vorons cleaved flanks with blades like scythes. Human rounds punched holes precise. Raiders faltered. Dirt shoots true. Mira covered rear. Protocol obsolete. Victory pyres lit night. Raider lord fled. Vowed return. Chamber private. Celira traced scars. Heirs next? Jonah pulled close. Negotiate terms. Lockdown lifted. Union locked. Irix chained for trial. Whispered from cell. Not over. Jonah heard. Net pinged. Traitor signal in ranks. New threat stirred. Celira's hand found his. Together. Always. Council cheered human spouse. Queen stronger. Shadows lengthened. Deeper wedge formed, but trust forged. War won. Love claimed. Palace secure. For now. Jonah checked rifle. Celira sharpened claws. Raiders probed again. Scans hot. Vesh at door. They return. Spouses ready? Always. Jonah synced with Queen. Hand in hand. Dirt and scale. Unbreakable. Call's trial dawned. Evidence stacked. Bypass logs sealed his guilt. He sneered at Jonah. Human tricks. Vorons forget honor. Celira rose. Honor in action. Reyes proved it. Verdict, exile. Worse than death for schemer. Mira filed reports. Earth Command approves. HFY legend grows. Jonah shrugged. Just ops. Night's deepened bond. Celira's fins relaxed under his touch. Human warmth, thawed royal chill. Reyes, she murmured, teach me dirt ways. He grinned. Maintenance first. Shafts became playground. Rigged alarms. Simulated blackouts. Vesh joined drills. Human speed. Adapts us. Trust spread. Guards saluted crisp. Raider lords struck rim worlds. Probes turned fleets. War council. Celira pointed hollow. Here. Ambush. Jonah traced lines. Flank blind. Earth faint. Combined strike. Voron blades. Human fire. Victory swift. Lord captured. But interrogation yielded more. Calls whispers funded raiders. Deeper rot. Jonah net hunted. Traitor pinged. Court aid. Arrest quiet. Celira nodded approval. Your net. Our justice. Heirs whispered in halls. Union fruit. Celira's belly swelled subtle. Secret yet. Jonah guarded fierce. Rifle, never far. Protective, she teased. Claws gentle. Standard. Wedge, eternal. Spouses true. Council bowed. Human rose equal. Shadows gone. Light held. But stars watched. New threats brewed. They prepared. Together. Lights stayed on. Doors open. Partnership won. Explosions tore through the border station's outer hull. Jonah Reyes braced against the flagship's bridge bulkhead as klaxons wailed. Hollow screens lit with raider corvettes swarming the void, their prows spitting plasma. Queen Celira, the comms officer barked. They demand your surrender. Say it proves your marriage weakens Voron steel. Jonah's jaw tightened. He scanned the tactical overlay. 12 raiders. Boarding pods launching. Voron cruisers flanked the station, but response lagged. Protocol chained them. Celira strode onto the bridge. Fins flared. Claws clicking on deck plates. Her eyes locked on Jonah. Captain Reyes. Your assessment? They're testing us, Jonah said. Faint on the station. Real push for the flagship. Authorize mixed teams now. Voron blades up close. Human fire for cover. She nodded sharp. No hesitation. You have command of defenses. Coordinate from here. Vesh, obey him, as me. Commander Veshtal stiffened beside Jonah, his armored crest rising. My queen. Now. Celira cut in. Her gaze held Jonah's. Trust burned there, forged in prior drills. She turned to the fleet channel. All ships, hold formation. Reyes leads counter. Jonah slapped the console. Defense teams, form up. Humans on suppressors, Vorons on breach. Airlocks seal on my mark. Pods slammed into the station. Breaches sparked. Raider Marines poured through. Scaled brutes in vacuum suits. Vibro axes humming. Boarding alert, Sector 7. Vesh growled. Jonah pulled his rifle from the rack. I'm taking Alpha Team to the station airlock. Pin them there. Mira, Jam their comms. Envoy Mira Chen tapped her wrist pad from the diplomatic console. Protocol says stay back, Jonah, but jamming live. He grinned tight. Protocol bends. Jonah led Vesh and 20 mixed fighters into the shuttle bay. Boosters fired. They streaked to the station's gaping wounds. Raiders overran Corridor 3. Voran guards fell back, blades clashing against axes, plasma-scorched walls. Jonah's shuttle docked hard at the main airlock. He kicked the hatch. Suppress and advance, Jonah roared. His human squad, 5 Earth Marines, unleashed disciplined bursts. Bullets chewed through Raider shields. Voran surged beside them, claws rending exposed flesh. Jonah dropped 2 boarders with headshots, then vaulted a barricade. Pinned Voran guards huddled behind debris. One clutched a gut wound. Finn's limp. Captain. They're everywhere. Hold, Jonah ordered. He slung a breaching charge. Vesh, flank left. Humans right. Vesh hesitated a beat. Old distrust flickered, then charged. His blade sang, severing a raider arm. Jonah detonated the charge. The blast funneled raiders into a kill box. Fire! Bullets and blades met in frenzy. Raiders howled, scales cracking under impacts. Jonah's rifle barked steady, conserving rounds. A brute lunged at him, axe high. Jonah sidestepped, drove his stock into its throat, then finished with a point-blank burst. Vorans rallied. Human speed! One guard yelled, awe cracking his voice. They pushed forward, reclaiming the corridor. Alarms spiked. More pods hit the flagship direct. Queen's ship breached. Mira's voice crackled over comms. Raiders at her bridge. Jonah's gut twisted. Vesh, hold here. I'm going back. No. Vesh gripped his shoulder. Together, you lead. They piled into the shuttle. Engines screamed toward the flagship. Jonah patched to Selyra. Status? Guards down, she replied, voice steel. I hold the bridge. Chancellor calls old allies among them. Raider funded. Exile hadn't stopped the rot. Jonah cursed under breath. Shuttle docked amid gunfire. They stormed the halls. Raiders poured from a side breach, 20 strong, driving for the bridge. Selyra's royal guards fought desperate, blades flashing. One fell, axed through the chest. Jonah's team hit their flank. Concentrate fire! Suppressors roared. Raiders spun, shields failing. Vesh's squad cleaved the front line. Selyra appeared at the bridge hatch. Pistol and claw firing precise. A raider dropped at her feet. Her eyes met Jonah's across the chaos. No fear, partnership. He reached her side, rifle sweeping. Clear left. They funneled raiders to the airlock. Jonah rigged the final charge. Backblast. Explosions sealed the breach. Survivors piled into their pod, boosters firing wild. Jonah slapped the override. Airlock vents howled. Vacuum sucked the pod, and 10 raiders. Into the void. Silence fell. Guards panted. Vesh knelt to a fallen comrade, then rose. Captain Reyes, you turned breach to trap. Jonah checked his squad, 2 wounded, stable. Teamwork. Voran Steel held the line. Selyra stepped forward. Her claw touched his arm, warm through suit. Fins eased. Fleet command. This is Queen Vaughn. Raiders repelled. Reyes coordinates all defenses. He is my royal consort command. Transmit terms. Surrender your lord, or we hunt your worlds. Raider flagship flickered on hollow. Impossible. The human proved Voran's strength, Selyra interrupted. Accept or die. Static. Then, terms accepted. Lord aboard in 1 cycle. Bridge erupted in cheers. Vorans thumped chests. Humans fist-bumped. Mira grinned from the comms. Earth reports incoming. HFY headlines. Jonah holstered his rifle. Selyra pulled him aside. Voice low. You saw the weakness before I did. Kal's shadow lingers. We root it, he said. Her belly brushed his side. Subtle swell, their secret. He rested a hand there, protective. She leaned in, claws tracing his jaw. Partnership, she murmured, not protocol. Vesh approached, saluting crisp. Consort command. Drills resume at dawn. Jonah nodded. Mixed teams only. As crews repaired hulls, Jonah scanned long-range scans. Probes winked, more fleets massing rimward. Call's exile hid deeper plots. Envoy Chen whispered of human reinforcements. Celira watched him work. "Teach me your feints tonight." He smirked. "Shafts again?" Her laugh echoed soft. Trust sealed the ship tighter than any lock, but outer sensors pinged. Raider Lord's shuttle docked under white flag. He emerged, chained, eyes on Jonah. "The human pet ends us?" Celira's claws flexed. "Partner, speak your truths, or join the void." The Lord sneered. "Chancellor's gold bought our blades. More weight. Your union mocks Voran blood." Jonah stepped forward. "Union wins wars. Spill names." Interrogation began. Names dropped. Court aides, border lords. Mira recorded all. Night cycle fell. In their quarters, Celira shed armor. Jonah traced her fins. "You authorized me without blink. Actions earned it." She pulled him close. Human warmth met Voran fire. Claws gentle on his scars. Heirs need both. His hand cradled her swell. Standard protection. Council vids beamed victories. Guards saluted humans equal. Vesh drilled harder, adapting human speed to blade work. Dawn brought new probes. Jonah traced patterns. Ambush vector. Flank blind. Celira approved. Lead. Fleets launched. Boran cruisers sliced vanguard. Human frigates feinted rear. Raiders shattered. Captured logs revealed the core. Call's off-world cell. Plotting coup. Jonah net hunted from the bridge. Ping locked. Aid in capital. Quiet arrest. Celira nodded. "Your net, our justice." Union whispers grew. Belly swelled more. Jonah's rifle stayed near. Threats brewed deeper. Stars watched. They stood ready. Doors open. Fortress unbreakable. One probe evaded. It streaked coreward, carrying warning. Call's final play. Jonah's console beeped. Incoming transmission. Earth command. Reinforcements green, but anomaly detected. Unknown fleet inbound. Together, always.